We know a lot of you folks are looking in pretty closely with the latest on NFL, but you might also want to pay close attention to the NFL helmets this weekend. As some of you may have noticed, several players are sporting flag stickers on theirs. But why are there flag stickers on NFL helmets? And that's exactly what we'll discuss in today's video, so make sure you tune in if you want to know more. Several players, including Penei Sewell and Fred Warner, are taking part in a new helmet sticker initiative that celebrates the NFL's multiculturalism. This weekend, while watching their preferred team fight on the football field, keen-eyed spectators could spot a new sticker on the helmets of some NFL players. The athletes can display a decal in addition to the standard American flag and NFL logo stickers during Week 4 and Week 5 games to recognize the league's multiculturalism. Players who have lived abroad for 2 years or more, or who have a parent or grandparent who was born there, are permitted to wear the flag of that nation or territory in addition to the American flag, according to a press release from NFL Communications. According to the press release, prominent players including Miami Dolphins quarterback Tua Tagovailoa and Arizona Cardinals quarterback Kyler Murray will take part. Murray will fly the flag of South Korea in memory of his father, and Tagovailoa will fly the flag of Samoa in honor of his grandparents. "My family and my culture are very important to me," Tagovailoa expressed in a statement. He continued, "Our name means everything, and it's an honor to be able to represent not only my family's name, but also my Samoan heritage as an NFL player. I hope that in doing so, I can encourage kids from the islands to keep pursuing their dreams and to also be proud of their culture and where they've come from." Over 200 athletes, coaches, and executives will participate in the new effort overall. Since the latter two camps don't have helmets, their members will don flag pins rather than stickers. According to a statement from the NFL, the player-led movement looks to honor the impact that those contributing nations from across the world have had on NFL rosters today and to highlight the global influence on the game, stating that fans will witness nearly 50 countries and territories represented. The players taking part in the helmet initiative with Utah ties include Tyler Algier, Atlanta Falcons, BYU from the Philippines; Fred Warner, San Francisco 49ers, BYU from Mexico; Mitch Wishnowsky, San Francisco 49ers, Utah from Australia; Leki Fotu, Arizona Cardinals, Utah and Harriman from Tonga; Iasoa Opeta, Philadelphia Eagles, Weber State Stansbury from American Samoa; and Penei Sewell, Detroit Lions, Desert Hills from American Samoa. Moving on to other related news, it's time for everyone's favorite significant activity, NFL Power Rankings. Now that Week 4 of the 2022 NFL season is in the books, these rankings stand out from the competition because they're the only ones in the universe that are absolutely accurate. And so let's take a look at the top 10 teams beaming this past Week 5. Starting at the number 10 spot, we have the San Francisco 49ers, who moved up 4 spots from the number 14 spot last week. Shame on us and everyone else who predicted the 49ers would lose on Monday night. They have a 7-1 record against Sean McVay in their last 8 meetings. DeMeco Ryans, who's been terrific, should be the head coach next season. Moving on to the 9th spot, we have the Dallas Cowboys, who moved up 2 places from last week's number 11 spot. The Cowboys deserve praise for coming back strong after their worst-case scenario Week 1 performance. With their pass rush, the Dallas defense has been able to exploit porous offensive lines. They should continue to benefit from this strength when facing stronger blocking troops. With the Rams and Eagles coming up in the next 2 weeks, it'll be very fascinating to see how the Cowboys do, especially with the possibility of Dak Prescott's comeback looming. Then at the 8th spot, we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who were formerly at the 9th spot. All we can say for this team is that the defense for Tampa is excellent as long as Patrick Mahomes is not present. So far, the Bucs continue to feel unlucky. Continuing at the 7th spot, we have the Green Bay Packers, who also moved up a spot from last week. To defeat the Pats' backup quarterback, the Packers have to win in overtime. Naturally, Aaron Rodgers appears much frailer without Devontae Adams. How this team didn't make a stronger move at wide receiver in the offseason is pretty absurd. Why didn't they attempt to outbid the Eagles for A.J. Brown, for instance? Then at the 6th spot, we have the Minnesota Vikings, who moved up a spot from number 7 last week. These rankings' top 5 teams are genuinely strong, assuming Tua is going to be okay. There's a substantial drop-off after that. Although the Vikings are presently in 2nd place in the NFC playoff race, are people really afraid of them? Despite being mainly uninspired, Kirk Cousins made a key play for Minnesota near the conclusion of their Week 4 victory. The Vikings would have faced a terrible New Orleans club in overtime on a neutral field if it weren't for a double doink. Then at the 5th spot, we have the Baltimore Ravens, who maintain their ranking from last week. The Ravens would not be in the playoffs if the season ended today. Fortunately for them, the season still has a few weeks left. The 2 losses for Baltimore were against very good teams in close games. They'll be fine, especially given that their schedule's remaining strength is the 4th easiest. Now on to the number 4 spot. We have the Miami Dolphins, who dropped from last week's top spot. It was awful to watch Tua Tagovailoa lose as he did in Cincinnati. The outlook for this team is difficult to assess in light of his severe brain damage. They're particularly good of Tua as well. If Teddy Bridgewater starts for a sustained period of time, they are at most most, a mediocre squad. Finally, now we're in the top 3. Sitting pretty at the 3rd spot is the Kansas City Chiefs, who were last week's number 4. Patrick Mahomes makes the Chief a danger throughout every game and season. With their victory in Week 4, Kansas City confirmed that their Week 3 loss to Indianapolis was an anomaly. At the 2nd spot for Week 5, we have the Buffalo Bills, who maintained their spot from last week, which is still at number 2. Even though it was a close victory for Baltimore, it was nevertheless a victory, and one that has major consequences for the AFC playoff picture. Although Buffalo's Week 4 opponent is Pittsburgh, it's difficult not to think about their Week 6 game versus Kansas City. Topping today's list is none other than the Philadelphia Eagles, who were last week's number 3. The Philadelphia Eagles' most recent victory was a victory that defined them as a club. After 4 weeks, they were the last unbeaten team in the NFL. After being outscored 14-0 by a strong Jags squad, they fought back with 29 straight points. The Birds' offense can attack defenses in 2 different ways, running and passing. Miles Sanders' success on the ground served as a reminder of this. The fact that Hassan Reddick is becoming hotter is concerning for the opposition. With only 2 turnovers, this club manages the ball well. They also seized it with 10 takeaways. The Eagles are a problem, and they don't seem to be getting any better. And in other more shocking news, Blake Bortles finally hung up his cleats. What's even more shocking is how many of us didn't notice it. After 8 seasons in the NFL, the former Jaguars and Rams quarterback is hanging up his cleats. He announced on Wednesday's episode of Barstool Sports' Pardon My Take podcast. In the episode, Bortles declared he hasn't touched a football since the start of this year, and that he has officially retired. If that surprises you, it might have been planned that way. The 3rd overall choice in the 2014 NFL Draft acknowledged this week that he hadn't told anyone about his plans to retire before appearing on the well-known podcast. "I didn't tell anyone I retired," the former quarterback told the stunned hosts. "A couple of months ago, probably, I just didn't tell anyone. So I guess you guys are kind of the first to hear it publicly, maybe." After being selected by the Jaguars in the 2014 draft, Bortles played for them for 5 years. The pinnacle of his administration occurred in January 2018 when Jacksonville advanced to the AFC Championship game but fell to the Patriots in a thrilling 24-20 contest. He spent time as a backup with the Rams, Broncos, Packers, and Saints before being eventually released following the 2018 season. The intended goal of the interview was to determine whether Bortles would be interested in signing with an NFL team. However, it's unknown if he has submitted his official retirement paperwork. For the proper payment, the 30-year-old said he would be willing to return. And on that note, we're wrapping up today's video. Which team do you think will top next week's power rankings? Let us know in the comments section below. Before you go, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to our channel with the notification bell on for more videos like these, and we'll see you again next time. Thanks for watching.